Ratios are pretty important. So we'll do a few. A company report performance rate. So what's the asset turnover ratio? So the asset turnover ratio is what's that? That's sales divided by average assets. So to get the average assets, um, you take that beginning inventory, the ending inventory from the previous year's beginning inventory for next year, 150 divided by 2. So 500 plus 50 divided by 2, 475 over 0. So the next, so the asset turnover ratio is 1.578. So what's the turnover ratio for this one? Net sales. 4 million divided by the average assets from previous year plus 2. So 400,000. 3 million divided by 400,000. 7.5. So that turnover for a company is 1.5. What that means is that for every dollar of assets, they get 1.5 worth of sales. So a company reported total assets of 10 million. What is the turnover ratio? So it's sales. It's not the average sales revenue. So for that particular year, 8 million divided by that's 14 million divided by 2. So that is 22, 24. So that's 12 million. So 8 divided by 12. 6.6. The return on assets. Return on assets. What is the profit margin and you have the asset turnover ratio each times it together? So 0.5 times 0.025, 1.25%. The selected financial information for what's current as what's the return on assets? Return on assets is net income divided by average assets. So the net income is 1,261,000 divided by average assets. So it's 15 million plus 16.5000 divided by 2. 1517,005. So 1, 2, 6, 9, 10, 0, divided by 1%. The profit margin, well, calculate profit margin pretty much. What you'll have to do is you'll have to divide net income with net sales. So that would be net income 400, 12,000, 120,000 divided by 750,000, 60%. Once you have the like the gross income or the profit margin with 60%, what you can do is you can actually find the asset turnover ratio, which is net sales divided by the 100 assets. So that would be 475 divided by. So you get the well, that's so then to get you can actually find the return on assets with this as well. 25% if you're looking for that. So the quick ratio is pretty interesting. So like there's the quick ratio, and then there's the current ratio. So like with the current rate, well pretty much with quick ratio, it's like current ratio minus inventory, and like plants and property, plants and equipment, that stuff. Current liabilities, pretty much like all liabilities. Yeah, this current ratio is current assets divided by current liabilities. So with quick ratio, for example, pretty much you have cash if you want, cash, short-term assets, inventory, investments. AR will also be included in that, divided by liabilities, like pretty much like that's pretty there. The current portion of so like quick ratio would be plus 405,000 divided by like the liabilities, for example, 18 plus the liabilities. Well, I'm not exactly sure if current liabilities. Yeah. So then 405,000 divided by 1.03. So like that's the quick ratio. So like with the current ratio, it's like pretty much the same like when it comes to liabilities. But it doesn't include long-term debt. It has to be current liabilities. The difference is that the assets pretty much will include not only cash, short-term assets, AR, but also include inventory. As I forget if plants equipment is also included. Yeah, so it's only plants and equipment is also. But plants and equipment is not included. for the current ratio, 1 point. Oh, cash. Yeah. So like the AP pretty much record all of these current portion of that from there. We would get the quick ratio 1.93 would be the quick ratio, and it would be pretty similar for the current ratio, 15,000 plus the short-term investment plus the AR plus inventory plus property equipment, etc. So now it will. Not good. However, my plan cycle is now included. Five. So the time interest earned. Time interest earned is actually rate plus input expense minus there's interest or interest expense divided by income tax expense. Income tax expense. You're dividing the net income before taxes and interest expense by interest expense. So, for example, this one, net income is 2,000 plus the income tax expense 30,000 plus minus the interest expense, which is 45,000, divided by the expense. So 60,000 plus 40,000 minus 25,000 divided by 25,000. Or is it what? Is it close? Yeah. Plus the interest expense. So the debt to asset ratio total debt, total total liabilities divided by total assets. Not divide, not average, but the total. So that's asset. Total liability divided by total assets. You know, it says debt to assets, so pretty obvious. 300,000 divided by 400,000. 700,000. So it would be 43%. The debt to asset ratio. And stockholder equity, I don't believe is an asset or liability. Debt to equity, on the other hand, it would be total liabilities divided by total. So liabilities would include like all of the liabilities pretty much. So we'll see like AP, liabilities, divided by total. Well, stockholders' equities. 1.1. The payout ratio. Payout ratio. I believe it's net income divided by cash dividends. Actually, it's net income minus dividends. So behind cash dividends divided by divided by net income minus preferred dividends. Divided by 7.7%. The return on equity. I could be wrong here. I really net income divided by average common stockholder. Yeah. Minus preferred dividends. So the payout ratio is the dividends divided by the net income minus the preferred dividends. The return on equity is net income minus preferred dividends divided by average earnings. 180,000 minus the preferred dividends. And the average stockholder equity. $34.5. Earnings per share. This one's good. EPS. Calculate EPS. Net income preferred dividends and the weighted average. So the net income which they reported is 2.6 million. Minus the preferred cash dividend. So they had 800,000 shares outstanding at the beginning of the year. But then on October, same year, they issued 400 additional shares in October. So those shares would be only in effect October, November, December. So 3 of 12. So that stocks outstanding, that should not probably. So 2.6 million minus 500,000 divided by 9,000. $2.33. Net income after taxes. That's pretty big here. It's very important that it's net income after taxes. So the what's it? EPS, earnings per share. Net income after taxes minus preferred dividends divided by the weighted average for so net income was 1 million minus the 100,000 in common stock and preferred stock. The shares outstanding in the first 3 months of the year equals 500,000. In the final 9 months of the year. Okay. So 12 times 500,000. $725,000. So 850,000 divided by 9,000. So 9,000 divided by 850,000. 1 point. So book value. This one I haven't really done before. But common stockholders equity divided by outstanding. And that's pretty much it. I mean, ratios are pretty easy. So like you can just like